I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
What's
up, guys? We are live from our bedrooms, living room, whatever, giving you the Love and Hip Hop Season 3, Episode 11 Breakdown After Show. I'm your host, Tyra Prude, and I am joined by my lovely co-host via Zoom. Hey, guys, how are y'all?
Hi, Tyra. Hi, Alfie.
What's up?
So, guys, as you know, we're all kind of stuck in the house with this coronavirus. So I hope you guys are staying safe. But we still have a jam-packed show for you guys. So we have to talk about Miss Vanessa and her celebration in Miami. We got to get into Trick and Joy because they went through a whole little thing in Miami with that whole, relationship thing, the comment. Was it Bobby Light made during the ceremony about them? So we got to dive into that. We also have to talk about Hood, Bratt, and Brisco. They're having relationship problems, and for some reason they've come together to talk about that. So that'll be interesting to get everyone's intake on. And then let's talk about this Brown Girls Brunch and all the drama that happened from Colorism to literally Primadonna and everybody going crazy. So what are you guys' overall thoughts?
I loved it. I love messy episodes. I was so here for it. And I had to binge from last week because last week I was in Miami with Jeroslyn.
Oh, right.
So I watched last week and this week's episode, and I was just like, yes, like they bringing the heat towards the end of the season. I was here for it.
Yeah, I think everything's coming full circle. It's one of those situations where they're giving you quality moments with, Trina's mom and the unity of how much she meant to that family and their community, and even in the Bahamas, how that transcends just one spot. I saw Amara, like I said, once you get caught up in emotional stuff, you start shooting them guns off. I think she's just irritated from being drained with, MJ situation to, her business. I think she's had the roughest seasons thus far. So excited though, the Miami drama is on point as always.
I don't think it was necessarily a lot of drama this episode. I feel like it was more so like another one of those built up episodes. So I don't know. I have a lot of views about the whole Primadonna thing. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like they could have handled that in a different way, mainly Amara. But other than that, I thought it was a pretty good episode. People are starting to it was a more so express your feeling kind of episode that was needed, that everybody's been hiding everything and now it's coming to life. So next week, I feel like it's just going to be a bang because everybody can share how they've been feeling on the inside. But yeah, so let's talk about Hood Bratt. So Hood Bratt went on and she decided to share with Brisco her whole marriage boyfriend kind of situation, and Brisco told her that she should give him another chance. I think she was, first of all, crazy to go to him. If anything, I thought she would go to the Babs girls. Like, why would she go to Brisco? But what did you guys think about that? Do y'all think that was good advice to tell her that she should stay with him? Like, I don't know. I think that was a mess. What was y'all views on that?
I feel so I personally took it as that's the kind of guy you go to, really have the other side's perspective kind of thing, instead of some of your homegirls who are basically gonna say what you already thinking in most of those situations. The only thing, I just felt like it wasn't the right kind of conversation. Like, I felt like, of course, a guy like that's gonna be like, give him another chance, but more so, in your perspective, what would a guy in that position, what's his mentality? How should I look at this dude? I think that's the kind of conversation that they should have had, which would have made that's exactly what you should be doing when you got like you have difference between male and female, so you want all kind of perspectives. If I having a problem with my girl, the last thing I'm gonna do is go to my homeboys, only because they don't think either my way or a little ghettoer or maybe a little nicer. But from a girl like her, it just so happens that Brisco is of the pedigree of kind of guy, so it made more sense to me. So if I had, a girl who was a little ratchet, if I had a ratchet friend, I go to my ratchet friend. If I had a girl who was like prissy, high class, I go to a prissy, high class homegirl, and then figure that out.
I feel like He definitely clearly wanted to take him back, because if you're going to Brisco to get advice, then you already know what he's going to say.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right. You don't go to someone like that thinking they're going to tell you, nah, sis, I think this is that last straw. You need to let him go. She knew what Brisco was going to say. Brisco said what we all expected him to say, which is to stay with a liar. I don't want to accuse him of cheating just because we don't know, but he is still technically married. So you lied. And Brisco knows that firsthand. We saw his scene with his baby mother where they both admitted that he had cheated in the past. So I just feel like she pretty much clearly wants to stay with the dude because she got the advice from the one person who was like, oh yeah, stay with him.
Exactly. Wow. We were literally thinking the same thing. I'm like, with these kind of situations, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm guilty of it, but females, we do that. We're going to go talk to the person who we know is going to tell us what we want to hear, not necessarily what we need to hear. And I feel like in this situation, Brisco was that person for her, especially since the fact that he's trying to keep his relationship too. So his whole mentality for himself right now is to get his family back. So of course he like, work it out, because I'm trying to work it out with my woman. People make mistakes, blah, blah, blah. But marriage is a huge, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like legally y'all are together. Like, how can you hide something like that from someone? So I personally thought that was a messed up situation. But with that, speaking of Brisco, has his own, motive that he has. He's taking his girlfriend, ex, whatever they want to call each other, to the house, this new house that he has built for them. Okay. Honestly, did y'all think she was gonna fall for that? Like, I don't know. I feel like
she kind of did.
She kind of did. But in the beginning, she was kind of iffy about it. What did y'all think about that?
One, I think that is some player from the Himalaya type move right there. Well, I hope that he plans to get a house of that caliber, because he's setting himself up for disappointing her and making even a worse situation and have her back in his life if they end up in an apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment, where he go through that 5-bedroom house to try to impress her to be like, this is how we could be living. We could be a family again. He said, this ain't even my price range, but this is what you got to do to, put the diamond in front of her face to give it a cubic zirconia later, I guess.
I felt like it was a cute TV moment, and that's all it was. I didn't take it too serious. I hope she didn't either. And
you said a cute TV moment. Oh my God. I don't know. I think he was sincere. Like, I think he really thought, like, this is what's gonna win my family back. Like, I don't know. I feel like it just shows his maturity. Like, I feel like men like him, they feel like they can create forgiveness by giving gifts and doing this. I got this, I'm gonna buy you a house. And that's what he did. And I don't know, I think that there are different routes that you can take when it comes to a breakup that happened the way his happened. I don't know, that was a mess. I don't know what to I don't get it. I feel like everybody's just trying to figure it out this episode, and they just are desperate at this point.
Yeah. But speaking of not being desperate and always staying together, we thank you guys for being a part of this lovely AfterBuzz family. See, we still working even when everybody ain't working. We want you to continue to give us 5 stars, those likes, comment. We love to see those and all that. That's why we are the ESPN of TV talk. Gang from the crib. You see that?
Gang.
Everywhere I go, I work hard.
Yes, from the crib, y'all. I done had multiple malfunctions. My laptop done died while we talking.
This is my first time. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my lighting together because this is not working. But trial and error.
I got that drop on the face. Trying to do that angelic thing.
We thank y'all for bearing with us during these crazy times, and we hope you guys are safe while you're watching us. Try to stay safe and give you guys content at the same time.
Get that toilet paper. Get that toilet paper.
Get the toilet paper. And I'm just happy that we're still able to do this and offer some form of distraction and entertainment despite the craziness.
Because it's helping me. Whew. Okay. let's just go ahead and talk about this girl's brunch or whatever. So, okay, you wasn't here last week, Jeroslyn, but we talked a little bit about the whole like colorism issue, and we felt like we didn't understand where Sukianna was coming from when she felt like she had been discriminated, and she was saying, because okay, we were saying, I feel like if any industry is very open to diversity, it is the rap industry. I don't really see like dark girls having an issue.
Well, but remember, she's still in Florida.
She is still in Florida, but she was making it against skin tone. I feel like there's multiple.
Okay, all right. Let's list it, because aside from Cash Doll, what other dark-skinned female rappers are out and lit and people are checking for right now? They are
right now. Right now, but I feel like how she made it, she was saying it more so as in longevity, not just, right now. To me, she was saying it like in general, in this industry, it's hard for us dark-skinned girls. And I'm like, we have people, granted, Lil' Kim is not necessarily dark-skinned, but she is not of light tone. So we have Lil' Kim, we have, the Foxy Browns, Meg Thee Stallion. So that's why I couldn't necessarily.
Yeah, but she's talking about that she could do something freaky and people drag her, but let's say Dream Doll or Sweetie or Cardi B did the same exact thing, it would be featured in TMZ maybe. Everybody be talking about The Blast. Oh, Cardi B's twerk videos are on The Blast.
But y'all, Meg Thee Stallion is the same way. Her and Sukianna ain't that much of a difference.
I'll say this. I think it's one of them things where on a major scale, as far as, African-American artists, that stuff is out there. It's the little battles that are always out there before you get to the top. And I feel like that's what, I can't discredit her, but I feel like as to pitch like there's no chances when you have a Meg Thee Stallion or you have a Lizzo out there or something that says, it may not be, there's only but so many people who are so quote unquote top-notch celebrities anyway. It is, not that many people at the toppest of the table. So that's where I get the teeter-totter, but I do, respect anybody who has gone through stuff. There's stuff that I've gone through that the next person may not relate to, but doesn't negate the fact that that's my, thing, which is why I like the whole getting the girls together, having that kind of lunch and brunch and all that stuff.
I just think that, to her point, and in her defense, because I really do like Sukianna, she is right. But at the same time, I can also see how, because of how R-rated she is a capital R-rated. If you follow her on social media, I could see how it could turn people off. But at the same time, Cardi B makes millions and she takes doo-doo on Instagram Live. She talks about the things she wants to do to her husband. She talks about Cardi B is extremely R-rated and it's more accepted, and I can't ignore the fact that she is visually appealing to some of mainstream media compared to a Sukianna. I don't even think Megan Thee Stallion, she just twerks. Everybody loves twerking.
But she be saying some explicit stuff too.
No, I'm talking about like her brand overall. Megan doesn't do it as R-rated as Suki. If you look at Suki's Instagram, Suki is very, very nasty.
Yes.
Nice. But so is Cardi B, and she's been able to really, and remember, like the same way Suki is crazy on Instagram. Cardi did just like Cardi B. And it's like, what is the difference? There's only
I think it's just time in the game. Maybe she's just at the point where,
too.
Because Cardi earned that over time by being funny, doing that stupid stuff in a tub, and I think it built after the show. Like I think if Sukianna wants to stay on the nasty, freaky girl, she just got to be committed, and eventually she'll have her fan base, and then everybody will be like how Cardi B is. Because I'm sure when Cardi B first came out, when she had messed up teeth, it wasn't as easy.
Yeah,
and it's still her first season. Cardi did it after her second season. That's when Cardi, she's like, I can't do this no more. I'm a superstar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to get your opinion on that. Like, not discrediting her journey. I was kind of confused. I'm like, I feel like it's a lot of people that's been representing for the brown girl, so I didn't understand where that lacked with her. But I guess with the whole colorism thing, a lot of them on the show were saying like how they experienced it. I mean, who else? Hood Bratt was saying how she wanted to date, at a long time, she wanted to date a more, I don't know, light skin tone person because she didn't want her kids to come out dark. Sukianna's manager was saying how she wanted to try to act more dark skin, whatever that is, so people can accept her for being Black and not white. So do you think that is relevant? Like, everybody was sharing their experience of how they felt like they had to fit in. Like, do you think within yourselves, has that been relevant to you, where you had to change who you were to be fit in a certain category, or not look to as too Black or too white?
I say yes and no. A part of that is, just your chemistry with how people relate to you to a degree. But then I haven't gone through blatant racism, but I've had to ante up and compete with other people that I felt like may have had, I guess, more of privilege to stuff than me. But I feel like it just depends on the chemistry of the situation. Because if you so happen to be getting along with those people, you wouldn't think that way. It just depends on how you perceive why people may or may not be affectionate to you.
It's based on your personal experiences.
Mm-hmm.
So, I was born in Houston, Texas, and I did go to kindergarten in Houston. And I can remember experiencing racism there, and like even saying to my family that I wanted to be white.
Wow.
And that was my experience in Texas. And then once I moved to New York, I talked like a white girl. So that I had to I started really learning how to fight, because that's when I started getting teased in school, and I was like tired of it. So I used to, by high school, I used to try to talk Black, like talk blacker. But even now, like, this is my voice. Like this, and my friends who knew me from when I used to get teased as a child, they'll be like, it's really good to see you doing what you do, because I can remember, like, you used to always get teased, and you literally, this is your voice. Like, I've never tried to sound anything other than that. Like, this is just what my voice is. And I experienced that in the South in a certain degree, and then I experienced it in the North in New York to a certain degree. And I do think it exists. It's not necessarily people's affection towards you. I also think it also can stem from a form of insecurity. Like, I talk the way I talk naturally just because growing up, my mother wouldn't allow us to talk
in slang and enunciate your words. Like,
right. And so when I go to school, I think at the time I didn't know, but now as an adult, I know they were insecure. They like the way I talk. They like that I sound educated. And so they'll be like, oh, you talk like a white girl. Oh, you think you're all that. Oh, you think you're so smart. And I wouldn't say that was anything I was putting off on them. That was their own insecurity, their own personal.
I definitely agree. Literally, that's what I was gonna say. My whole life was the same thing. Like, oh, you talk like a white girl. Tyra's an Oreo, whatever that means. And it was to the point where it used to affect me. I used to feel like, am I two different people? Am I being true to my Blackness because I talk this kind of way? And like you said, I had to realize that's more so insecurity from other people, because they can't go into those rooms and talk how they should talk, like how we can present ourselves in a certain way. And I just feel like the whole Black white talk thing, what is talking Black or white? It's just proper English. And I'm sorry that you are more slang than I am. Like,
I don't, even when you have some, like, if you have someone that who is Black but grew up like in the suburbs and they talk differently, I still wouldn't say that they're trying to talk white. They talk like where they're from.
Their environment.
They talk like their environment. That doesn't mean that they're talking white or they're trying to be white or anything. Like, somebody from Brooklyn is going to sound like they're from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, period. People said to me, like, because I went to a HBCU, why do y'all talk Black? What does that mean? But okay, I can go on and on about that subject. But as you can tell, colorism lives, and I hope you guys are learning to embrace your culture and not letting what people say get to y'all, because at the end of the day, they're insecure and you're popping, whatever. So speaking of popping, Premadonna and Amara was ready to pop some stuff off, because as they're having this talk, and as Amara is sharing her side to her, points of colorism of being Black, but also being Dominican and not knowing where she fit, Premadonna, she came to her and was like, well, why do you feel that way? Or whatever she said. And that's
what do you identify as?
So, okay, I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings about this whole little argument they had, because I feel like women tend to hold things in and they don't express it, and they expect other people to know what they're mad about. And when it comes out, it's just like, you should know. But in all honesty, a lot of people don't be knowing. So with this whole situation with Premadonna and Amara, I felt like Amara was in the wrong because no, let me finish. I think she was in the wrong simply because what Premadonna did was messy, yes, but they left on a decent note. She didn't leave feeling like she didn't say to her, oh, you were messy because you brought such and such. They left on a good note. So in Premadonna's eyes, she like, I ain't doing nothing wrong.
But you gotta even take into account how the whole conversation got started. If right now you just say what you said, or we're speaking how we speak it, and just check my tone right here. So you don't understand why someone would say something about you when you're gonna wear that white sweater. That's exactly how Premadonna asked Amara.
But I don't think she was, I don't know.
No,
maybe
you was ready. You gotta
different.
pick up energy. And from day one, Premadonna has been looking for an issue with Amara. And then as soon as even Amara walked in, like you said, they ended on a positive note. So why when Amara walked into the event, Premadonna's already looking at her like, oh, she came. Then she sits down, and it's like Premadonna was waiting to address her in some kind of way. So when Amara see her take of not being Black enough or not being Spanish enough, here come Premadonna like, what do you mean not Black enough? Like, what do you identify with? She was saying it along the lines of trying to press me. And I'm quick on that. I pick up on energy. I would have responded if honestly, I didn't think Amara was turned up enough.
Okay, so what do you think
up on her?
I feel they were, well, one, I feel Amara was wrong because she should have addressed that earlier before the meeting. Like if she's gonna come to the thing, or you see somebody, you either pull them to the side before you sit down, because there's that, I don't play to that stupid tension in the room stuff. Like if I got a problem with you, I'm gonna go ahead and get to it so we can chill, or we can know it's about that life, which I feel Premadonna wasn't necessarily vicious because she's just like that with everybody. You know how you got that friend who's like the super into everybody's gossip and business and they just like that. I feel like half of that wasn't her trying to be malicious, but she's with the crap. So it's one of them things where if Amara gonna take wrong to her trying to just inform her about, somebody that's saying something bad about her man or something like that, she could have took it like, okay, thank you. It was not the way I would have gone about it, but cool. And that could have been cool. But the fact that they either, you're right, Jeroslyn and Premadonna just want to find another thing other than Jocelyn as a competition. Amara would be an easy next target, that she's so emotional with everybody that I can see it. But in the sense of how you play a person like that is you play it cool. And you be like, well, thank you for the information. I probably wouldn't have known that. Maybe that did change something in a good way. But as far as you just messy, we can't be that close, but we don't got to be enemies. And I feel like Premadonna, if you talk to her a certain way, she will have just as much fun being your enemy as your friend. I think she's a ghetto friend that gives you all the gossip in the dirtiest of streets. But you got to make sure that so the friend is going to get you all of a sudden caught up in a robbery or something like that. So you got to stay away.
I don't agree, but I get what you're saying. I think Premadonna is messy. And at first I was feeling sorry for her when, Jocelyn was picking at her. But from there, I just started to see like, oh, you know what? Like, you're a messy queen. And if anything, you met your match with Jocelyn, because Jocelyn gonna come with all that energy. Amara is just not really into all the drama as much. And I can understand why Amara didn't address it that day with Premadonna and the friend one. She was being bombarded with information about her man, and she was taking into account what the ex was saying. I'm also one too who I need some time to sit on the information and just the whole situation. Because I'm famous for that. Like what? Like after I keep like little things, it keeps adding up. I'm gonna hit you with everything, and they're gonna be like, "Oh, why you didn't say nothing that way?" Because I didn't feel like it.
I ain't had time to filter.
I didn't even notice it that day. I didn't even notice all the shade that day, but I noticed it today. And I'm gonna address
oh my God. Okay, so I don't know. I do feel like Premadonna was messy, but I feel like in that, how it all happened, it was messy, how she brought the eggs. But in that moment, like I said, I don't know. Maybe I'm just giving her the benefit of the doubt, but I really feel like sis thought they ended on a good note, and she thought that Amara wasn't fazed by it, and I don't know. But either way, it came out.
That messy question.
It came out. And now they have beef. She told her how she felt about it, and I don't know. I don't. We saw in the preview how it was going to turn out. So I mean, the true colors are being revealed. I just think I think this is all a learning lesson for Amara. I think she is learning to stand her ground along with having her own voice. Like this is Amara's season of learning to be true to herself. So
Iron Brimstone, she's transitioning.
And I do think that it is important for her to stay single. Yep. And during this time, because it's like it is a lot that she doesn't need, especially a man that, like, no shade to MJ, but it's like that can't even hold his own, because then I also have to worry about taking care of you in addition to me and my mother. She just needs less stress. So
yeah. Well, Amara girl, we are hoping that you figured. Oh, Alfie, did you see her at the event last week that you went for Boomerang?
I actually didn't. I had a lot of.
Oh, okay. She was there. Day. I wanted to talk about that. Since we haven't been in studio, I just thought I should just ask. But
yeah, I didn't. I left early.
Oh, dang.
Stuff, well, it was a great event. That Boomerang thing was lit, though. I like lovely chocolate kings and queens coming together and then and empowering and supporting each other. So, that was a lovely function. Lena did a thing. She looked bossed out, all that. Yeah,
good job to Lena. Speaking of Black people getting together, let's just go ahead and get into our news and gossip. Jeroslyn, you want to tell us about your Miami weekend with the Puerto Rican princess?
Right with the team.
I got back just in time, I'll tell you that.
You did. That you did.
Yes, I was I was with Jocelyn last week. She did a interview with Ra Ali's show on site, and she was talking about her living girlfriend. So her and her man Ballistic, because Jocelyn, she loves both. She has an attraction to men and women, and Ballistic is supporting of that, and they have someone that is of Middle Eastern descent that they're considering moving into their Atlanta home.
I say, well,
really?
Yes, I found that very interesting, and she is also in the stages of planning for Jocelyn's Cabaret season 2, and even what she's doing with that show. Hats off to her for that, because she's really, these are girls that have been in a strip club for years. She was like, I'm going and giving opportunities to girls I used to dance with 10 years ago. And she was like, for season 2, she put out an open call for emails, and she's getting all these emails. So shout out to Jocelyn for what she's doing, putting women on and just being around her. Because, she's portrayed one way in media. And I can definitely admit that, we've seen some crazy sides of her in the past, but just being around her, I could just see how much she has matured and evolved, and she's just making boss moves. So
yes, well, we love to hear it. I was so excited when you posted y'all on Instagram. I was like, oh, Jocelyn, you gotta tell us how it is.
Yeah.
And because she ain't been on this season. Like, she came on and she hasn't been back. And next week is the season finale. So I'm just like, Jocelyn, you supposed to be stirring the pot, but I'm sure she'll be back.
She's probably busy making all these other shows.
Yeah, that's what. She's in her bag.
Yeah, she's in her bag. Completely, utterly in the bag.
Yes. Okay. So, guys, let's go ahead and get into our special topic, special segment. Who brought the Miami Heat? All right, Alfie, you start. Shortly, briefly tell us who brought the Miami.
It's quick. It's easy. It's Amara, but it's Amara because she's losing her mind and going crazy. I mean, when you're in a position where everything is important, your life, your love life, your money, your finances, your projection of what kind of career you're trying to do, especially in entertainment, you get caught up. And I hope she doesn't combust. She just ends up, it's like you got to put your butt to the fire in order to evolve that kind of way. So hopefully she makes the right decisions to where she becomes the queen she's supposed to be. But if not, then, these are the lessons we learn. Dang.
What about you, Jeroslyn?
I mean, I'm sorry. I have to agree. I don't want to piggyback, but Amara brought the heat this week. Like, she has really been a star figure this season. And I really like Amara. You could tell she has a sweet soul. And I want to see her win. And I like her sticking up for herself. And I only want to see her do it more. Because I think she is the most hated on the show. They just
well, dang, I was gonna say Amara too, but we can't say it 3 times. So I'm gonna say Sukianna brought the heat this episode. I mean, yes, I still have my questions about the whole colorism situation in the rap industry, but I love how she is standing firm on her platform with that, and how she, was the bigger woman and brought, not that she necessarily has issues, but she brought everyone together for this brunch within unity with the Black women on the show and in Miami. So I thought she brought the heat. She showed us that she is more than her twerking, nasty, background. Like, she can be that woman who can represent other women who are dealing with, anything that may not be accepted in the culture of America or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, Sukianna brought the heat this episode. So let's go into some predictions. What do y'all think is going to happen here on out? We only have the season finale next, and we have the reunions are coming. So what y'all think is about to go down?
Definitely, we're going to see if Amara can fight a little bit with this Premadonna situation. Hopefully, homegirl got hands. You know what I'm saying? Cuban boxes. But, yeah. And then, I think a lot of nice things with Trina and her mom. I don't know what's the little final thing of that, but I think there's just a little bit more they're going to give us. It's going to be like a good quality family, ended thing. And that's me.
I'm just here for that reunion. I think Nikki Natural got a lot of heat coming for her just because she just did way too much this season. And
I forgot about Nikki Natural.
Yeah, I think that's and that's just me because I'm a
because he pussy.
I already know something's about to go down. So I'm just acting like I'm putting a prediction. But no, Nikki Natural's about to get red to filth at that reunion, and I can't wait to watch it.
She better have some running shoes on.
Oh my God. I'm gonna predict that Joy and Trick are gonna get back together. I mean, we didn't really touch on it, but they had their whole little intervention this episode too of how, she felt Trick was not there for her or was not trying to upkeep himself for her, and he shared his feelings. So I think that Joy and Trick are going to work it out, and they're going to be one big happy family. This is the light in spite of all of the drama that's getting ready to uproar with these new episodes to come.
Wow.
But this was fun, y'all. I'm happy to see y'all via Zoom, and I hope you guys are staying safe. I think we're good.
I didn't get a chance to smell them lace fronts today.
Huh?
I didn't get a chance to smell the lace fronts today.
Hey.
Okay, whatever. The wigs are secure.
The wigs are secure, boo-boo.
Anyway, where can we find you guys on social media?
You can find me at Alfred Nolan Thomas, the number 2, IG, all that jazz.
You can follow me at Jeroslyn Diva, Jeroslyn Diva.
And you guys can find me on all social media platforms at Tyra Prude Official. Thanks for staying with us through this crazy time. See you guys next week. Stay safe.
Bye.
Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.